I'm Lisa and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you a TBR video because I wanted to talk about my December books. I have some plans because I want to focus this month on finding out if I like Romantasy. I don't know if I do that. I had an idea that I wouldn't, particularly because usually when I read a fantasy, I really like being immersed in the world, getting a lot of knowledge about the lore, about the world. And I often feel like when I read a fantasy book with a lot of romance in it, there's not time to explore the world as much as there is in a regular adult high fantasy book, if you get my meaning. But then I started reading a whole lot more regular fantasy romances over the last couple of years, and last year I read From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout, and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars if I'm not mistaken. I think I read that in November. I read it in October 23. And Nele, I just finished filming an unboxing video and she found cardboard. I mean, as long as he does it in the cardboard, I don't really mind, but it's a little bit noisy. Are you done? Yeah, I was just trying to bite it. I don't think that's going to be as noisy. I don't know. Anyway, story short, I read From Blood and Ash last year. Really enjoyed it. I think I read it in a couple of weeks. It was a time when I didn't read a whole lot, but I really enjoyed it, that one. I never read on in it. I don't know why. I will try and figure out if I can continue with that next year. It's not part of my TBR this month. Then in April or May, I read The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, which I also really loved and gave it 4.5 stars. So maybe I enjoy Romantasy, but maybe it's just a particular kind. I knew I liked Jennifer Armentrout's writing, that's why I picked that one up. I wanted to check out what her sort of fantasy-like books were like, because I read her paranormal stuff, some of them, and I read her J. Lynn book, the one she did, New Adult Romances, and really enjoyed those. So I knew I could really enjoy her books, and that's why I picked them up. And The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy was because it was a really cheap deal on Kindle, and I read it relatively soon after I got it. So those two books, really enjoyed them. So now I looked into the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees this year, because Romantasy category was added last year instead of middle grade. Can we just talk about how disappointed I am that there's no middle grade category any longer in the in the Goodreads Choice Awards? It's just such a bummer. There's a lot of flaws with the Goodreads Choice Awards, but it does talk about usually the most popular books in each category. But I think there are a couple of the books that I picked out here that not a whole lot of people know about. I'm not sure, but I decided to go with 5 books from this year's selection. I didn't want to take books that were part, like the second in a series or whatever. It was like the first in a series or standalone or something like that, and I needed to be able to more or less get it from without having to pay too much for it. I bought a Kindle for $4.99, which was like, okay, that's fine. And then the rest of them are from my Storytel, so I don't have to pay any extra. So those will be heavily influencing on my TBR. I will let you know when that is. You'll probably be able to tell. Then I have some other things that I wanted to do, some extra audios, some extra books that I want to read, and let's talk about them all right now. In all, I have 6 audios on my list. But please remember, like some of them are super long. Apparently one of the Romantasy audios are 20 hours, so and 18 hours around that time. So it takes more time for me to get through them, obviously, than the regular standard sizes. But yeah, the first one I have on my list is Games God's Play by Abigail Owen. This is one of those that I found out is not super popular. It's not super known. A lot of people are actually confused about why this was added to the Goodreads Choice Awards and how they figured that was to be part of it. But I thought it sounded really interesting, and it was available on my Storytel, and so I'm ready to look forward to it. It's the first in a series The gods love to play with us mere mortals, and every 100 years we let them. So, interesting. Next up we have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This, I don't know if it's part of a series. I know about Sarah Beth Durst. I think I read a book by her once a long time ago. This wasn't as long as the previous one, but I think it's gonna be fun. Is apparently a cozy fantasy, so it's perfect for fans of Travis Baldry and TJ Klune. The last and final audiobook that I am reading for the Romantasy part is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is apparently super duper popular. I think I've seen it tons of places. So definitely one I am on the lookout for. We'll see how it goes with that one. Then I have 3 books that are sort of the last books on my, I want to read them before the end of the year because they're part of the series that I've been reading from over the year. So the first one of those is Fantasy in Death by J.D. Robb. This is the 30th book in the In Death series. I would like to be caught up with that because in next year I'm planning on reading the next 10 books in the series, and I would like to just start in January with the 31st one. And another one we have is Yuletide Yule by Danielle Garrett. I think this is book 10 in the 9 Lives Magic series. I'm not certain about this, but it's obviously a Christmassy book, so why I need to read it around Christmas as well. And the last and final book is Murder on Rose Hill by Victoria Thompson. This is just for me to catch up on and stay caught up to the Gasland Mystery books. So I love this series so much. And this one came out this year, so I want to read it to stay caught up with the series, and hopefully it will be really, really good. So those are my audios. Then I have 4 ebooks, physical books on my list. The first one is again one of the Romantasy books, and that is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This I got on my Kindle for $4.99. It's, I don't know what it's about, but it looks intriguing. I don't have any idea. And then we have A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. This one is also on my Storytel, but I have to read the ebook version because they don't have an audiobook of it. So I'll have to read from my phone, which I'm not super looking forward to, but I'll have to make do because I can't read it from the app. You can't get the Storytel app on my Kindle Fire, and that's the only extra app I have to read from, so that's a little too bad. Since we're in the festive mood this month, I have The Christmas Stories and The Naughty List on my list to read. I wanted to read it in November, but I postponed it because I had another Tom Fletcher book that I wanted to read first. So this one, I already started it. I think I'm just gonna continue where I left off. They're super easy to get into. I always enjoy them, and especially the Christmas Stories books. So I don't know why I never finished it that year, but I probably super busy. That's my guess. But I'm looking forward to reading on in this series. I'll read this one and finally get caught. It's not caught up because then he's released another Christmas book this year. I think it was called The Christmas Sorrows and the Christmas Carol. And then another book that I obviously want to read is The Daughter of the Forest by Julia Marilia. This is the only book I didn't get to in my fantasy vlog that I did, and I would really love to read it. I think it's gonna be so enjoyable, but it's also really long, so I don't know if I can put on more books to read than these 4. However, in case I finish the books that I've set for myself right now, I have the 2 ebooks that I'm definitely not gonna get to, that I was on my November TBR that I'm postponing into the next, and that is Hot Shot Doc by R.S. Gray and Off the Beaten Path by Madison Wright. Those 2 books will be postponed to my December reading if I have time, otherwise we'll see when I get to them. So those are my plans for December. I feel like they're quite ambitious. I have a lot of books to get caught up on if I want to meet my Goodreads goal of 100 books. So I definitely need to see if I can read all of them, and then maybe I will be able to get there, but we'll see. Because I think I actually have to read like 12 to 15 books. But we'll see. I haven't actually looked into it. I finished a book today, and I finished a book yesterday. So I'm all right in terms of my reading for this week. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get more books added to my read pile. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what plans you have for December. Do you have a lot of plans like me? Are trying to catch up on everything that you did, all of the goals and stuff, and see if you can squeeze in everything, or do you usually slow down and just see what happens because December is so busy already? That's usually what ends up happening with me, but I hope that it's not, because I really want to try and see if I can meet my goal. So we'll see how things goes. I don't have tons of stuff, so we'll see. Anyway, this is everything I have for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.